Seems like markets are going back up, confirming the uptrend that we started seeing a couple of weeks ago. And there are a couple of reasons behind this. So I want to go over in this video exactly what is the reason or what is the current state of the market and why I believe this is one of the best season of the quarter of the year to actually make some decent amount of returns. Swing trading, if you don't know what that means, then you're gonna definitely learn something new today in this video. So where is the market actually closed today? I mean, the S&P 500 closed to almost a new all-time high. I mean, if I zoom in here, you can see that so far this year, the market represented here by the S&P 500 always tend to come back from his lows in order to move along this uptrend line, confirming the bull market in which we are. So last time we were at the 453 levels. That was, the beginning of the month of September 2nd. Since then, based on Evergrande, based on the whole situation with inflation and the Fed tapering, announcing they're going to taper, and then since then, the market slowly and gradually came back, having, really choppy sessions, being green today, being red tomorrow. And so far, and since pretty much the beginning of October, we've seen an uptrend. And the earnings season started at the beginning of the month, hence pushing the markets a little bit higher. As a matter of fact, we had the earnings from the banks actually telling the market that the outlook we have based on what we see on the loan departments, on the loan numbers in our books actually show that the next 3 to 6 months for the economy is definitely going to be bright. So we are not in a worry mode, if you will. So that is a good sign that the economy is still pushing, because the main concern for 2022, based on what we saw on the earnings and the margins of the company, so meaning the amount of money the company have been able to make, pushing the share prices and the stock market as broad, were compared to 2020. So 2021, 2022, the main concern is, are we still going to have that growth, continuing? Are we still have the economy growing? But what about inflation? So the fact that we had Tesla, for example, that, released the earnings today, still strong despite the chip shortage, despite supply chain issues. So even though they, topped the expectations in terms of, amount of cars delivered and sold, it was still not full capacity based on what is happening at the factory, based on what we're seeing here with, the chip shortage and the supply chain issues, which are all also back to the whole inflation thing. So just to say, markets are still to grow, and these earnings are showing that the markets are still to grow. Now, the big eye will be turning to the Fed, because we also had weekly jobless claims falling to a very low number, meaning that the job market seems to be strong. We had actually a better than expected number, down 6,000 from the previous week and below the 300 that the market estimated. Good jobs plus numbers around inflation. People will be looking at the Fed like, hey, you said that you're going to look at the job market. If the job market is still strong, then you're going to do exactly what, you're going to start reducing the stimulus money and potentially leading to raising interest rates. So it seems like people already, by people, investors already priced that in and are still, I would say, comfortable into whatever that will mean, the Fed tapering. It wouldn't derail the economy from actually growing even more in 2022. But you just never know, because the market, something might happen, COVID cases rising, and then it derails this whole thing. Now, this is a pretty good, interesting season to actually do some money in the market, because we are in the earnings season. And earnings season, you can do what we call swing trade. Swing trade is pretty much when a stock, let's say, Tesla, for example. Tesla disclosed earnings, and based on the numbers that the street expected, that the market expected, if people were expecting them to sell, 1,000 cars. I'm just making a round number there, 1,000 cars. And they actually came in during the earnings. They say, hey, we were able to sell or deliver 1,500 cars. That is a significant gain, because it means the company did pretty well, pretty better than people were expected. So if this is done quarter after quarter, it means the company is growing, hence attracting more people to buy the share price for the company to grow even more. So when Tesla disclosed the revenue, the earnings, the share gained intraday almost 5%. All right, so that is $40 a share. I mean, you will tell me, well, in the case of Tesla, it's pretty expensive, AC. I don't have $900 to dump into a stock. But what about fractional shares? With Schwab, Fidelity, and some of the brokerages here in the US, you can actually buy pretty much every single stock in the market with just $50. So that's another good way to actually do some money, to make some money, even though you do have little capacity, little investment power, if you see what I mean. So if you are interested, I'm going to actually disclose in another separate video the next earnings to come and how we can definitely position ourselves into making some decent gains. You know, it doesn't matter how you're trading or investing with 500, 5,000 or 50,000 because these are the same. But I mean, the risk is a little bit different, but the strategy is the same.